I hope I am audible. My screen is visible. There was some issue, and because of that, the broadcast suddenly ended. So I'm starting in this with this new broadcast. So I'll just wait for a couple of minutes for people to join. So in case they are at the home page and they are having a look at things around things that are going on, then maybe they will be able to join as well. So I'll just wait for a minute or so and then we can start with this thing. Just give me a second. I'll just check if everything is fine. Yes, everything looks fine. Yeah. All right. So we had a small technical snag, and but I think we are fine now. So we can get going with the session, and we can start with today's session. All right. So I can see some people who are here with us, and I think there will be some time till before people are aware that something like this has happened and they join us on this particular link. So let's hope people are able to find their way and they are able to attend this particular session. All right. So we'll start with today's session. So today's session is the first session on number theory, the first daily drill on number theory that we will be doing. We have done RCs, we have done geometry, we have done algebra, we have done arithmetic, we have done DI, we have done LR, we have done VA, we have done everything. Now modern math is also done incidentally. So number theory is sort of the last area that we have that we will be looking at today. And number theory used to be very popular when it was what 2008, 2009, 2007, that era. So that time, at that point in time, number theory was sort of one of the most important topics that used to be there. In fact, you will still see some remnants of it, right? So a lot of the mentors that you will be learning from are pass outs of that era, right? Or maybe slightly after that. They would have learned it from people who were teaching at that point in time. I was one of those people who learned a lot from people who were teaching at that point in time. So I'm talking about 2009 was my first CAT. So I learned from people who had taken CAT 2004, 5, 6, 7, 8. And at that point in time, number theory used to be very intense. And a lot of people used to pay a lot of attention to number theory. Now what happens in case of number theory is there are a lot of topics that are there. So back then division used to be a big thing. Right, so finding remainders, Euler's, Fermat, Chinese remainder theorem, Wilson's theorem, all those things basically come from that era. Although these questions were not directly asked at the CAT, people went slightly overboard in learning those concepts. And even now you will see a lot of people professing that you need to learn Chinese remainder theorem, Euler's theorem, Fermat's little theorem, and Wilson's theorem, right? So all those things are there, but nowadays it's not really recommended that you go through that entire drill, so it's perfectly okay. Nowadays the age is of LCM, HCF. LCM and HCF is very important. Factorials and base systems have stopped appearing at the CAT. They are not very aggressively asked. You might see some questions. So there was one nice question a couple of years back in terms of factorials, 15,000 factorial, something like that. So those kind of questions you can always get, but otherwise the intensity has reduced by a bit. Right? So in terms of factorials, be it in terms of base systems, this is like a moderate kind of topic that exists in number theory. LCM HCF is extremely important, so I'll say high. Division I will say is low in this particular case. Cyclicity again is slightly on the lower side if you look at it right now. In terms of the other things, divisibility. Yeah, divisibility is also moderate. You might get some questions that are based on either core divisibility or divisibility with permutations and combinations. Okay, and again properties of numbers, the classification of numbers, so all those basic questions, again you might not really see a lot of questions, but still it's an important concept to study, right? So all these things are there in this particular context that exist, and you have to understand what to do, what not to do, and so on and so forth. I for one will be very happy if I know LCM HCF really well. I know, let's say for example, indices, surds, logs. So all these things if I know really well, then I'll be very happy because these are very high in terms of their appearances. So if you look at today's session as well, we'll see a lot of indices based questions, logs based questions, surds based questions. So these सारे questions बहुत सारे you can see, right? So this is a highly important topic. This is a highly important topic. And on that note, let's start with the session. I think a lot of people have joined us now. So let's get going with today's session and let's start with the questions. All right. So what I'll do is I'll just show the first question to you. You can try it out on your own. These questions are all from CAT 2018 to 2019, I believe. Some might be from 2020, but majority of the questions are from 2018 and 19. Okay. So have a look at this question. Think about it for a bit. I'll stay on this slide for a minute or so, and then you can answer this question if you get an answer. Okay. And even if you don't get an answer, you want more time to solve, you can pause the video, you can try it out on your own, and then maybe submit your question, your answer in the chat, and I'll just see if there is something that can be improved upon when it comes to your answer, and if there is some suggestion that I can give. Right. Hi Sai Kiran, welcome to the session. So on that note, I'll just pause here for a moment, and we can maybe have a look at it after 1 minute. So 8:15 is when I intend to start with the answer to this one. So have a look at it, try it out on your own, and then we will try to have a look at the solution. It's a very interesting question, and if you are not very scared of exponents and inequalities, then it's a very normal, manageable question, so to say. Okay, I'll give 30 more seconds and then we will start with the answer. Alright, let's have a look at the solution here. It's a fairly straightforward question if you understand the language of math. So the best thing that you can do in this case is convert English to math, right? तो अगर math को English में अगर हम लोग convert कर पाएंगे ठीक से, then it will be a very easy question and manageable question. So first of all, you have to know that we are talking about integers, right? Integers x such that 0.25 is less than 2 raised to x. So जो भी integer है 2 raised to x, that integer less than equal to 200 होना चाहिए. तो ये पहले मेरे को फाइंड आउट करना पड़ेगा that what all are the values of x that are possible. That is the first thing. The second thing is 2 raised to x plus 2 has to be perfectly divisible by either 3 or 4, right? Either 3 or 4, 2 raised to x plus 2 should be perfectly divisible. Now what we can do in this context is I need to know how many x's exist first of all, and then I need to put them in the form of 2 raised to x plus 2. So how do I find out how many x's exist? By just plugging in values and checking what happens. Now what will happen in case of this 0.25? 2 raised to what gives me something that is either equal to 0.25 or just about greater than 0.25. So you will see that 0.25 is nothing but 1 by 4. So I can write this as 1 by 4 less than equal to 2 raised to x less than or equal to 200. Now what is 1 by 4? 1 by 4 is nothing but 1 by 2 square, or if you know what we are writing here, 2 raised to minus 2. So if your value says 2 raised to minus 2 and if you represent it in the form of a fraction, the minus 2 will go to the denominator and it will be represented as 1 by 2 square, right? So this is the value of 1 by 2 square or 2 raised to minus 2, that is 1 by 4. So I am saying that 2 raised to minus 2 should be less than or equal to 2 raised to x, and this in turn should be less than or equal to 200. ठीक है, तो x जो है वो -2 हो सकता है, -3 नहीं हो सकता, because if x is -3, 1 by 4 will not be less than 1 by 8. So the minimum value that x can take is -2, and maximum value कितना होगा? 2 raised to x has to be less than 200. 2 raised to 1 is 2, 2 square is 4, 2 cube is 8, 2 raised to 4 16, 2 raised to 5 32, 2 raised to 6 64, 2 raised to 7 128, 2 raised to 8 256. So 2 raised to 8 has gone beyond 200. तो 2�7 तक यहाँ पे एक्सेप्टेबल है. So the max value that x can take will be 7. x cannot be 8 because 2⁸ will go beyond 200. ठीक है. So -2 से लेके 7 तक all the values are going to be possible. How many values are there doesn't matter. पहले तो we have to figure out how many of these are divisible by either 3 or 4. तो let's say हम लोग x के जगह पे -2 लिखते हैं. Then what will happen? 2⁻x will be 2⁻2, that is 1/4. 1/4 plus 2 तो 3 4 के divisibility के बाहर है ना, because we are talking about divisibility in terms of positive integers and not fractions, right? So अगर मैं 2⁻2 लिखता हूँ या फिर x is equal to -2, this will not be divisible by 3 or 4. अगर मैं x को -1 लिखता हूँ तो भी सेम प्रॉब्लम है. What if x is equal to 0? If x is equal to 0, then 2⁻x plus 2 will be equal to 2⁻0, that is 1 plus 2, that is 3. ये divisible है 3 से, either 3 or 4 is good enough. 3 से divisible है तो this is fine. If x is equal to 1, 2⁻1 that is 3, 2⁻1 that is 2 plus 2 that is 4. ये 4 से divisible है तो this is also okay. What if x equals to 2 square, that is 4, 4 plus 2 that is 6. 6 is divisible by 3. What about x equal to 3? 2 cubed 8. 8 plus 2 10. 10 is not divisible by 3, neither is it divisible by 4. What if x is equal to 4? 2⁻4 16 plus 2 18 बन जाएगा यहाँ पे. 16 plus 2 18. 18 is divisible by 3 but not by 4, which works for us. अपने को 3 या 4 में से कोई तो एक से divisible होना चाहिए. That's what we are looking at. What about 5? 2⁻5 is 32 plus 2 is 34, not divisible by 3, not divisible by 4. 6 अगर करेंगे 2⁻6 was 64, 64 plus 2 is 66. Yes, it is divisible by 3 but not divisible by 4. I'll just check. Yeah, we have some space here. What about 7? 2⁻7 128 plus 2 was 130. 130 is neither divisible by 3 nor divisible by 4. Now we just have to count how many numbers exist in this particular context that are either divisible by 3 or divisible by 4. तो यहाँ पे अगर सिंपली हम लोग काउंट करेंगे कितने टिक्स हैं, सो 3, 4, 6, 18 एंड 66 आर ऑल डिविजिबल बाय ईदर 3 और 4. तो x के कितने वैल्यूज पॉसिबल है? 1, 2, 3, 4 एंड 5. So there are 5 possible values of x that exist such that 2⁻x plus 2 is divisible by either 3 or 4. Alright, I hope this is clear. If there is any doubt in this question, let me know, and we should be fine. I think during the test, again this was from one of the slots that I had taken the test, and I had made some very silly mistake in this one, but then again the overall the slot I think was manageable. This one was 2018 if I remember correctly, or 19, I'm not sure, but one of those 2 years, but this was one of the easier manageable questions from that slot. So I think either I had made a very silly mistake or maybe I got it right luckily. One of those 2 things had happened. I remember I had done something which was not really wise, but somehow I survived that year. Okay, sure. So we'll move on to the next one. I hope the first one was clear. Let's look at this one. Again, have a look at the question. I'll stay here for a minute or so, minute and a half I'll give you. Try to solve this question on your own, and we will start solving this at 8:22. Okay, so you get 1.5-ish minutes to solve this. So 8:22 ko we will start. Again, if you need more time or something, what you can do is you can pause the video, try it out on your own, and just see if what you have done makes sense, or if there is something missing, let me know in the chat. I'll try to answer your question. Okay. So now I see some people have joined. Initially there was some issue with the stream, so the stream abruptly got ended. Maybe something got clicked randomly, I ended the broadcast maybe. And that's why it got disconnected, but yeah, apologies for that, but I am sure everybody who was supposed to be here is here, right? And for those of you who haven't watched the video, there is a very nice video that we have made, 150 days to CAT. I have spoken mostly about the mental side of things because 6 months to CAT already covered all the syllabus, topics and everything. So I tried to do something in terms of the mental aspect, how to maintain your focus, what all problems can you face and so on. So have a look at that video if you haven't looked at it already. It has received very good response. And some of you, if you haven't watched it, then do watch it. I'll try to put it in the description box below, but have a look at it. You'll easily be able to find it on the home page itself. But एक बार देख लेना उसको, ठीक है? चलो, we'll start with the question now. In an examination, the maximum possible score is n. ठीक है? So maximum possible score जो मिल सकता है वो n है. Pass marks is 45% of n. A candidate obtains 36 marks but falls short of the pass mark by 68%. Which of the following is then correct? Right? So ये बहुत ही classic question types होते हैं जहाँ पे you will be given an in between benchmark and you will be given something which is below the benchmark, sometimes higher than the benchmark. Gap लेके percentages को use करके you have to figure it out. But यहाँ पे again it's a manageable question. So let's have a look at this one कि करना क्या है exactly इसके अंदर. Right? Now the maximum possible score is n. ये मेरे को पता है. जो यहाँ पे let's say minimum possible score ये है या 0 है, doesn't matter. ठीक है. 45% इसका जो होगा ना, that is the pass mark. So if I write this here, 45%, this is the pass mark or passing marks. ठीक है. A candidate obtains 36 marks. उसको ना 36 marks मिल गए और बेचारा फेल हो गया. So उसको 36 marks मिले हैं यहाँ पे, which is short of the pass mark by 68%. So इसके और इसके बीच का गैप है 68%. That is what has been told to us. We have to figure out which of the following best defines n. And all the ranges that you have are mutually exclusive, and that's why you will have only one answer that will fit in these ranges. ठीक है? तो या तो 200 के नीचे है, or it is 201 to 242, or it is 243 to 252, or it is greater than or equal to 253 or greater than 252. ठीक है? That is what we are looking at. Now this is a fairly straightforward manageable question. So first thing we can do is, because percentages have been asked, let's say n का value is 100x, right? N का value is 100x. Now we are saying that the pass mark would have been 45 by 100 into 100x. ये होना चाहिए था, right? But the problem in this particular case is उसको 36 marks मिले हैं, but he has fallen short of the pass mark by 68%. If he has fallen short of the pass mark by 68%, then what can we say about the candidate's score? The candidate score is 32% of the pass mark ना. अगर ये पूरा का पूरा, if this entire thing is 100 and if this part is 68, this part has to be 32 of the pass mark. So इसका जो 32% है, that is what the candidate has got. But this is nothing but 36 marks. So now we have to figure out what is the value of 100x in a way. Right? So we can just see if we can cancel out a few terms and what happens after that. So 9 4s are 36, 9 5s are 45 is what you are going to get. 5 into 20 is 100 is what you are going to get. 4 8s are 32 is what you are going to get. And you can cancel a bit more, right? Yeah, you can cancel out a 2 from here, 4 from here, rather 5 here, and 2 and 50. Okay? So you are going to get 100x equals 50 into 5, that is 250. So the maximum marks n was 100x. 100x is equal to 250. तो कौन से range में आता है? It falls in this option B वाला range. So n is between 243 and 252 because it is 250, and that's why the correct answer here is option B. Alright, I hope this is clear. I hope there are no doubts in this one. It was a manageable question, this one. So I don't think there should be any difficulty understanding this one. Although if there is something, let me know. We'll try to address it in the chat itself. But अगर कुछ नहीं है तो we'll move on to the next one. Akash, can I explain the equation? Sure. So 45% of 100x is the pass mark, right? So what is this basically? You have to understand what is this 32, right? This 32% is nothing but 32% of the pass mark. If you have fallen short by 68%, it means that you have achieved 32%, na? Because together वो 100 होना चाहिए. So you have attained 32% of 45%. So you have attained same thing that we have written in a slightly different style. 32% of 45% of the total marks is what you have achieved, but you have achieved 36 marks. So that is basically the equation. Okay, if you have fallen short by 68%, it means that you are at 32%. That is the meaning. Make sense, Akash? I'll just show the next question to people who are done with this one. So have a look at this one. So 32% equals 36. 32% of 45% is 36, Akash. It's not 32% of total is 36. If you look at the question, na, falls short of the pass mark by 68%. Does not fall short of the short of n by 68%. तो पास मार्क कहाँ पे था? 45% पे था, उससे 68% नीचे, मतलब 32% ऑफ द पास मार्क इटसेल्फ, नॉट 32% ऑफ द ओवरऑल. Alright, got it, Akash? I hope you understood this. शॉर्ट ऑफ द पास मार्क बोला है, नॉट शॉर्ट ऑफ द ओवरऑल मैक्सिमम पॉसिबल स्कोर, वो नहीं बोला. ठीक है, yeah, for 30 more seconds and then we can start with this one. It's a nice question, not difficult, but again if you look at exponents, n raised to n, 2 raised to 160, ये सब देख के I'm sure some of you might be scared, right? So that is basically the problem. So once you get rid of that fear, then I think it's a very easy question, because again you have to understand that questions that appear at the CAT have to have one answer, right? They have to have one correct answer. ऐसा नहीं है कि it's open to interpretation and you do something and someone else does something and one of you two might be right, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. There is one proper answer to every question. तो जो भी terms दिए हैं that have been given to you because of a reason, ठीक है. So in this particular context, अगर हम देखेंगे कौन सा term दिया है because of a particular reason, so you will see that this n raised to n equals 2 raised to 160, right? That is basically the thing. Okay, just give me a second. I think I hope this is better. Alright, so there is this n raised to n equals 2 raised to 160 that has been given to you, and that has been given to you because of a reason, right? So 2 raised to 160, you have to figure out what is this 160 made of. वो पहला चीज है, because we are supposed to find out n square and 2 raised to n. So it is known that n का कुछ तो वैल्यू होगा, right? So that is basically something that I am assuming कि n का कुछ तो वैल्यू होगा, that will be able to figure out. Then we will have to plug it in this one, n square plus 2 raised to n में इसको plug in करना पड़ेगा. Then we are saying that it is a multiple of some 2 raised to x. So forget about this. First my energy has to be focused on figuring out what is the value of n. So n raised to n is 2 raised to 160. Now what we can do in this context is, यहाँ पे मेरा base बहुत छोटा है and my exponent is very large. So what I can do is I can try increasing my base little by little and then see where is it that my base matches the exponent. ठीक है. So in this case, let's say for example I write this like this, 2 raised to 2 the whole raised to 80. मैं ऐसे लिख सकता हूँ 2 square into 2 square into 2 square 80 times will give me 2 raised to 160. ये मिल जाएगा. Now this will be nothing but 4 raised to 80. 4 is again very small compared to 80. तो मैं क्या करूँगा? I'll try to do this again. Maybe I'll just try to see what will happen if I take 4 square here and see what happens. अगर मैं 4 स्क्वायर लेता हूँ यहाँ पे, सॉरी 4 स्क्वायर रेज टू 40 आ जाएगा, बिकॉज पावर 80 था यहाँ पे. सो दिस विल बी नथिंग बट 16 रेज टू 40. अभी अगर मैं इसको स्क्वायर करूँ, देन माय बेस बिकम्स मच लार्जर देन माय एक्सपोनेंट. सो आई नो दैट 2 रेज टू 4 जो यहाँ पे है ना, सो आई जस्ट राइट इट लाइक दिस, 2 रेज टू 4 रेज टू 40. यहाँ तक तो ठीक था. लेट मी ट्राई टू टेक अनदर 2 इनटू द मिक्स. तो मैं क्या करूंगा इसको, I'll write this as instead of 4 into 40, I'll take another 2 inside and I'll write it as 4 into 40 is 160, so 5 into 32. Yeah, instead of writing it as 4 raised to 40, I'll write it as 5 raised to 32. And this is basically where magic happens. 2 2s are 4, 2s are 8, 2s are 16, 2s are 32. You got it? So 32 raised to 32 बनेगा मेरा value of n raised to n. Now if n raised to n is 32 raised to 32, I can definitely say that n is equal to 32. Now what happens in the second expression? ये बनेगा 32 square plus 2 raised to 32, right? अब इसको हम लोग को 2 के फॉर्म में अगर लिखेंगे, then I have to remove 2 raised to x entirely ना. I have to remove as many 2's as is possible from this expression. अब यहाँ पे तो 2 raised to 32 दिया हुआ है. Let's try to see what happens in this case. We know that this is 2 raised to 5 the whole raised to 2 plus 2 raised to 32. ठीक है, 2 raised to 5 the whole raised to 2 raised to 5 the whole raised to 2 plus 2 raised to 32 हो गया. तो ये बन गया 2 raised to 10 plus 2 raised to 32. Now what can I do in this context? I can take a 2 raised to 10 common now outside. This will become 1 plus 2 raised to 22. Now this is going to be an odd number and this is a power of 2. So सबसे बड़ा 2 का पावर में कौन सा बाहर निकाल सकता हूँ? That is the question. What is the largest 2 raised to x we can remove, and then we have to find x. So 2 raised to 10 is the largest power of 2 that we can remove, and that's why the correct answer here is going to be 10. So the largest value of x that we can divide, or the largest value of x such that 2 raised to x divides n square plus 2 raised to n, or n square plus 2n is an integral multiple of 2 raised to x. दोनों का मतलब एक ही है. 2 raised to x का मल्टीपल है ना, तो 2 raised to 10 का मल्टीपल होगा ये. 2 raised to 11 का नहीं होगा, बिकॉज एक और 2 यहाँ से निकाल ही नहीं सकते क्योंकि ये तो ऑड नंबर है, राइट. That's why we are going to get 2 raised to 10 here, and so the largest value of x will be 10. All right. Again, I hope this is clear. For those of you who are done, I'll show the next question. In case you have any issue with this one, let me know. I'll try to explain this one, the previous one. इसको try कर लेना. This is again a manageable question. On first glance, you might think of a way of doing this, but then you have to understand the question very nicely. एक छोटा सा इसके अंदर एलिमेंट है. इफ यू फिगर दैट आउट, देन इट इज मतलब इट विल बी मच मोर कन्विंसिंग फॉर यू. अदरवाइज यू विल बी लाइक ये क्वेश्चन में कुछ गड़बड़ है, कुछ तो गलत है, एंड सो ऑन. Yeah, I'll wait on this one for another minute and we'll start this at 8:37. ठीक है, तो एक बार इसको देख लेना, then we can start with the solution. Alright, let's look at this one. So I know that quite a few people might actually look at this 97 and maybe instinctively उनको लगेगा कि 81 plus 16 है, and that's why this is nothing but 9 square plus 4 square, तो 36 आना चाहिए, and then you'll start searching in the options and 36 है ही नहीं, and then that's a problem, right? But then you have to understand this term very clearly. Numbers बोला गया है, we have not been mentioned integers. तो अगर इंटीजर्स नहीं बोला है तो वी कांट अज्यूम इंटीजर्स, बिकॉज बियॉन्ड दिस यू कांट रियली स्प्लिट इट, राइट? सो 81 plus 16, चलो ठीक है, आई कैन स्टिल मेक दिस, राइट? व्हाट एल्स कैन आई डू इन दिस पर्टिकुलर कॉन्टेक्स्ट? इफ आई एम लुकिंग एट 64 plus 33 तो वो नहीं चलेगा. इफ आई एम लुकिंग एट 49 plus 48 वो भी नहीं चलेगा. इफ आई एम लुकिंग एट 36 plus 61 रादर, नहीं चलेगा. सो दीज थिंग्स विल नॉट वर्क, राइट? एंड देन दैट्स द प्रॉब्लम. सो वी आर लुकिंग एट नंबर्स हियर. So now we have been told that let's say these two numbers are a and b. तो मेरे को बताया गया that a square plus b square is 97, ये बताया गया है, and we have to figure out what could be the possible values of a and b. तो all these possibilities we have to figure out. right? So that is basically the thing that we are supposed to look at in this particular context. तो ये possibilities कैसे पता चलेंगी? I know a square plus b square. I have to find ab. I don't even know whether a and b are positive or negative or whatever. मेरे को नहीं पता. So basically I am going to get something in the form of a range that is expected of me, right? अब what is the thing that you know that connects a square plus b square and ab in some context? One thing I can say for sure that a minus b तो whole square जो होता है ना, a minus b the whole square, whenever we look at a minus b the whole square, ये number या तो zero होगा या तो positive होगा. a minus b the whole square cannot be minus or negative because we are talking about real numbers यहाँ पे, right? So a minus b the whole square will have to be greater than or equal to 0. That much we know. If I expand this, I'll get a square plus 2ab, a square minus 2ab plus b square is greater than or equal to 0. Now that will tell me that a square plus b square will always be greater than or equal to 2ab. So a square plus b square हमेशा 2ab से बड़ा होगा. So in this particular context, 97 has to be greater than or equal to 2ab. Or in other words, I can say that because 2 is a positive number, even if I divide both sides by 2, my inequality remains the same. So AB will be less than or equal to 97 by 2 or 48.5, I believe. Yeah, AB will be less than or equal to 48.5. अब ये सारे options के अंदर which option is there जो 48.5 के नीचे नहीं है? This one. That's why that is my answer. Right? Some of you might also say that minus कैसे हो सकता है करके. So इसका दूसरा भी एक alternative equation है मेरे पास. I can also say that a plus b the whole square is greater than or equal to 0 because again square of a number can never be negative. So a square plus b square plus 2ab will be greater than or equal to 0. A square plus b square will be greater than or equal to minus 2ab in this case. So in this case I can say that minus 2ab जो है ना, that will be less than or equal to 97. That much I can say for sure. So I can say that if I divide both by minus 2 तो मेरा inequality reverse हो जाएगा. Now AB will be greater than or equal to 97 by minus 2 or AB will be greater than or equal to minus 48.5 here. ठीक है? So AB should be greater than or equal to minus 48.5. तो minus 48.5 and plus 48.5 के बीच में मेरे जो भी वैल्यूज आएंगे all those will be possible. अब वो कैसे आएंगे वो फाइंड आउट नहीं करना है मेरे को. I just have to figure out which of these is not possible. Is this greater than minus 48.5? Yes. Is this greater than minus 48.5 and less than 48.5? Yes. What about this one? Yes. So the only option that we have that is not greater than or equal to 48.5 is 64. And that's why that is our incorrect मतलब answer which cannot be the product. ठीक है? And options में से पूछा गया तो always in this kind of a situation always look at the extremes. Generally यहाँ पे you are going to get strangled by this and this end and उसके बीच में जो भी values होंगे वो those will be your answer. So generally the answer is not going to be 16 or 48 unless you are expected कि 3 definitely integers होंगे or something like that. अगर वो होगा then maybe one of the middle numbers could be your answer. But अगर integers पे कोई cap नहीं है, we have only been told that it's basically any set of two numbers करके, definitely you have to look at any of the extremes and then you will be able to get the answer. Alright, I hope this is clear. Intuitively I am hoping this makes sense. Yeah, another thing you can think about, again if you are like from that mindset, you can think about it in slightly different manner as well. 64, right? If the sum of squares of two numbers or basically if the product of two numbers is 64, उनका sum of squares जो होगा वो minimize कब होगा? वो minimize तब होगा जब we are looking at 8 and 8, but 8 square plus 8 square is beyond 100, 128 है, right? And that's why 64 again cannot be my answer. So even if I just compare 97 with 64, I will know that वो मेरा आंसर नहीं हो सकता. Whereas if I look at minus 32, let's say minus 32 को अगर मैं एकदम पास में लेके आऊँ प्रोडक्ट के नंबर्स को, what will happen? It will be between 5 and 6 ना. अगर दोनों को मैं minus 6 भी ले लेता हूँ, let's say, doesn't matter, I'm just saying. But अगर मैं minus 6 and 6 ऐसे भी कुछ अगर नंबर ले लेता हूँ, let's say for example, even then what will be the sum of the squares? 72 ही बनेगा ना, 97 तक हम जा ही नहीं रहे. and that is why 64 will be your answer even by observing the options and looking at this 97. तो ये सब अगर नहीं भी का तो भी चलेगा. You just have to have a sense that if the product of two numbers is something, what will be the minimum or what will be the best way to ensure that the sum of the squares is minimum. That is basically the point. ठीक है? Okay, I'll show the next question. Again, looks to be a very difficult question. Some people might think कि अगर logs नहीं पता तो it will be very difficult for you to solve this. But again, as I said, CAT has a way of making things easy for you and also difficult for you. So you have to understand what is the perspective that you carry to the test, and उसके बाद मतलब things will generally fall in place. Right. Yeah, I hope the footer is visible now. Alright, so have a look at this question. I think I'll wait for maybe 30 seconds more because it's a very easy question and you have to understand that context here. वो करेंगे तो I think you should be fine. Anyone has any doubts or something, let me know in the chat. I'm assuming that you are getting whatever we are doing here. So even if you are getting whatever you are doing here, please put it in the chat so that I know that you are around. Alright. So 4 raised to n is greater than 17 raised to 19 बोला है अपने को यहाँ पे. And we have to find the smallest integer for which this holds true. अगर मैं n को 100 करता हूँ, let's say 4 raised to 100 is obviously greater than 17 raised to 19 ना, मतलब बहुत ही बड़ा नंबर हो जाएगा. It will be a huge number. But we have to be very efficient. We have to figure out what is the smallest value of n for which 4 raised to n is greater than 17 raised to 19. ये बोला गया है. Now we have to understand what is 4 and 17 के बीच का relation. I know that 4 square is 16, right? So can I say that अगर मैं इसको 4 raised to n के जगह पे 16 raised to n by 2 लिखता हूँ, because 16 raised to half will be 4, right? So if I write it like this, it will still be the same inequality, क्योंकि मैंने 4 के जगह पे 16 लिखा हुआ है. That is the only difference that I have made. 16 raised to n by 2 is greater than 17 raised to 19, ये बोला है. Now मेरे को ये पता है ना कि 16 raised to 19 is definitely not greater than 17 raised to 19, because if I multiply 16 into 16 into 16 19 times and compare it with 17 into 17 into 17 into 17 19 times, definitely 17 is going to win, right? तो ये वाला तो definitely will not hold true. तो इससे तो बड़ा ही होना पड़ेगा, right? So I'll know that n by 2 has to be greater than 19 or n has to be greater than 38. Look at the options. Not greater than 38, not greater than 38, not greater than 38, greater than 38. That's it. अब वो 4 raised to 39, if you start comparing with 17 raised to 19, then it will be a problematic thing, because then you will have to figure out अरे log 4 कितना होता है, log 17 कितना होता है, 39 into log 4 बड़ा है कि 19 into log 17 बड़ा है, and so on and so forth. Then you will end up getting into unnecessary calculations. अब यहाँ पे दिया ही नहीं ना. If it were a theta question, then I would have been slightly annoyed with the question. I would have still marked 39, because again you have to trust them to give you a question which you will be able to solve. अगर 38 के बाद सीधा 41 पे आंसर आता है, then I can't expect to know that value. No, I can't expect to sit and calculate it during the test. That's why in these situations, even if it's a theta question, I would have marked 39. But again, it was not a theta question as well. तो ये तीन options तो definitely not greater than 38 है. तो ये वाला मेरा आंसर होना चाहिए 39. Alright? So that is basically what this one looks like. Straightforward question, manageable question. Any doubt, let me know in this one. Till that time, I will flash the next question for your benefit. Yeah, I'll just stay on this for a minute. and then we can start discussing this question. And in this one, the worst mistake you can make is not read the question properly. That is the only problem. If you read this question properly, so there is no chance that you will not be able to get this one. So यहाँ पे if you just assume things and start doing it, then it is going to be a problem. But as long as you are not assuming things, you are paying attention to each and every number in this question, then I think you should be fine. Yeah, so this property is what we have to remember, and if you know this property, you will be able to solve the question very easily, right? So whenever someone tells you that log a to the base b है, it's log a to the base 10 divided by log b to the base 10 or log a by log b जैसे हम normally लिखते हैं. If you know this property, this question is extremely straightforward. कुछ भी नहीं है question के अंदर. So let me write the first term and then we will try to extrapolate it to the other terms as well. Log 100 to the base 2 ये दिया हुआ है. Now this will be nothing but 1 upon log 100 again to the base 10 भी कर सकते हैं, नहीं कर तो भी चलेगा, doesn't matter. I just keep it as it is and I'll write it like this. ठीक है, because general convention is that it will be log to the base 10. तो अभी यहाँ पे क्या होगा, this log 2 will go to the numerator and the log 100 that we have will stay in the denominator. तो ये जो है ना, इसका representation will be like this, log 2 by log 100. Now if I write each and every term in this expression in this format, I'll get log 100 नीचे, तो my denominator will be one big log 100 that I'm going to get. तो I'll just write log 100 यहाँ पे as the denominator. मेरे numerator में क्या होगा, I'll have log 2 minus log 4 plus log 5 minus log 10, and यहाँ पे people might make a mistake. बिकॉज यहाँ पे log 2 माइनस log 4 है, सम ऑफ यू माइट से चलो 1/2 मिल गया, इधर भी 1/2 है, ये भी 1/2 होगा, एंड देन यू एंड अप इन ट्रबल. सो दैट इज समथिंग दैट यू आर नॉट एक्सपेक्टेड टू अज्यूम. यहाँ पे यू विल जस्ट हैव टू पे अटेंशन टू दिस नंबर्स दैट आर देयर एंड यू शुड बी फाइन. log 10 हो गया प्लस log 20, आई जस्ट नीड टू एक्सटेंड दिस, माइनस log 25 एंड प्लस log 50. Now if you know the other property of logarithms, log a plus log b is nothing but log of a into b, प्रोडक्ट हो जाता है, एंड ऑल्सो log a minus log b is log of a divided by b. So these two properties again you should be knowing. तो अगर ये सारी प्रॉपर्टीज पता है, it will make your life much easier. Now what will happen in this case, log 2 माइनस log 4 है प्लस log 5 माइनस log 10 है, सो ये सारे मल्टीप्लीकेशन और डिवीजन हो जाएंगे. सो आई बेसिकली टेक log आउटसाइड एंड ट्राई टू जस्ट अरेंज दीज टर्म्स. सो log 2 माइनस log 4 मतलब 2/4 हो गया, प्लस log 5 मतलब इंटू 5 हो गया, माइनस log 10 मतलब डिवाइडेड बाय 10 हो गया, मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 20 हो गया, डिवाइडेड बाय 25 हो गया, मल्टीप्लाइड बाय 50 हो गया. सो दिस इज माई न्यूमरेटर एंड माई डिनोमिनेटर इज log 100 as it is. Now what are we going to get? We know that 10 2s are 20, 2 2s are 4, 2 and 2 will get cancelled out, 5 5s are 25 and 5 10s are 50. तो यहाँ पे क्या हो जाएगा, log 10 by log 100. और in other words you can say that log 100 जो है उसको हम लोग log 10 square लिख सकते हैं, 2 log 10 लिख सकते हैं. So you are going to get this as log 10 divided by 2 times log 10. ठीक है, ये दोनों कैंसिल हो जाएंगे और आंसर विल बी 1/2. तो अगर लॉग के बेसिक रूल्स पता है, यू विल बी एबल टू मैनेज दिस वेरी इजीली. अगेन वन ऑफ द इजियर क्वेश्चंस ऑफ दिस सेट. इफ यू आर स्केयर्ड ऑफ लॉग्स देन इट्स अ डिफरेंट स्टोरी, बट यू शुडंट बी स्केयर्ड ऑफ लॉग्स. एटलीस्ट बेसिक प्रॉम्प्ट्स अगर पता है मेरे को लॉग के, आई विल बी एबल टू डू जस्टिस टू दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन. ऑलराइट, आई होप दिस इज क्लियर. Any issue, let me know in any of the questions. We'll try to solve it then and there. नहीं तो it will haunt you throughout your journey. ठीक है. Again, I'll show the next question for the benefit of those of you who are done with the previous ones. So this is classic. Yeah, Rahul, great. Chalo, nice to hear that. This is again a classic indices / log based question, and again some of you might not have attended the session on Sunday that we did. So last Sunday we did a nice session on graphs, modular functions, polynomials, quadratics. वो क्या था? If you haven't had a look at the session, do have a look at the video. I tried to start from the very basics and take it up by a bit. We ended at polynomials, which was I think a good place to end that particular session. I'm planning to do more such sessions if you guys liked that particular session. I got a good feedback during the session as well. But in case there's something, we can do something. And ये log से मेरे को याद आ गया. Log is something that I wanted to do. So I have got some requests for logarithms, for function-based questions, set theory, Venn diagrams, tournament-based questions. तो ये 3-4 तो मेरे को suggestions मिले हैं. If you have any suggestions, if you have any of these suggestions as well, do let me know either here or in the comment section, and I'll try to schedule another one for the coming week. So let's see if we are able to do these kind of sessions on a consistent basis. ठीक है? So let's get going with this one. P raised to 3 equals Q raised to 4 equals R raised to 5 equals S raised to 6. ये दिया हुआ है. And we are supposed to find the value of log of PQR का product divided by S. ठीक है? PQR का product divided by S. Now one thing we can do in this particular context is अपने को PQR सबको अगर S के फॉर्म में लेके हम लोग आ जाते हैं, then life becomes much easier, right? If you convert PQR in the form of S, your life will become much easier, right? So now I know that P raised to 3 equals S raised to 6. I also know that Q raised to 4 is S raised to 6, and I also know that R raised to 5 is S raised to 6. Now what I can do in this case is I can take the root of everything, or I can take the LCM of everything. दोनों भी चलेंगे यहाँ पे, ठीक है? I'll generally go with the LCM because that gives me better numbers. अगर मैं root लेके करूँगा, I will have to add all fractions. So I will have to add 2 plus 3 by 2 plus 6 by 5. ये तीन मेरे को add करने पड़ेंगे. And that might be slightly painful, नहीं painful भी होगा, but why to deal with fractions? That is why what I will do is I'll convert PQR to the same power. PQR को अगर मैं same power में convert कर लूँ तो क्या होगा? PQR का product will also be raised to the same power. Right? So P raised to 3 is S raised to 6, Q raised to 4 है, R raised to 5 है. अगर 3, 4, 5 मेरे को same power पे लेके आना है, I have to look at the LCM of 3, 4 and 5. What is the LCM of 3, 4 and 5? Right? The LCM of 3, 4, 5 is 60 here. तो मैं P को 60 पे raise करूँगा. How can I raise P to 60? P raised to 3 the whole raised to 20 will be S raised to 6 the whole raised to 20. ये बन गया P raised to 60. This will give me S raised to 120. Again Q raised to 4 है ना, अगर मेरे को इसको 60 पे रेस करना है, so Q raised to 4 the whole raised to 15 हो जाएगा, so S raised to 6 the whole raised to 15 हो जाएगा. This will be S raised to 90. R raised to 5 को अगर मेरे को R raised to 60 करना है, I'll have to raise it to 12, which means S raised to 6 will also have to be raised to 12, which will give me S raised to 72. Now what can I say in this case? P raised to 60 into Q raised to 60 into R raised to 60 is nothing but P, Q, R the whole raised to 60. ये मेरे को पता है. But what is this value? This is nothing but S raised to 120 plus 90 plus 72, which will be S raised to 120 plus 90 is 210 plus 72 is 282. तो मुझे यहाँ पे PQR का वैल्यू क्या मिला? If PQR the whole raised to 60 is S raised to 282, what is the value of PQR? S raised to 282 by 60 हो जाएगा ये, right? So S raised to 282 by 60 बन जाएगा. Now what is my question here? What is the value of log of S raised to 282 by 60 to the base S? Now if you know the basics of logs, you will know that इसका representation क्या है? What is the meaning of this representation? S raised to what gives me S raised to 282 by 60. So S raised to 282 by 60 will give me S raised to 282 by 60 ना? That is basically the question. So iska value will basically become 282 by 60. For those of you who are not very confident about this one, this is as simple as saying this is 282 by 60 log of s to the base s. And ये तो मेरे को पता है 1 है, right? So this is what you are going to get. You can cancel out a 2 from the numerator and the denominator. You are going to get a 30 and a 141. You can cancel out a 3 from the numerator and the denominator. You will get a 10 and 3 4s are 12, 3 7s are 20. So 47 by 10 आएगा. Option A is your answer. ठीक है, इसको उससे भी कर सकते थे, the other one, the fraction method से भी कर सकते थे. In that case, you will have P equals S raised to 6 by 3 or S square. You will have Q equals S raised to 3 by 2 and you will have R equals S raised to 6 by 5. So PQR का total will be nothing but S raised to 2 into S raised to 3 by 2 and 6 by 5. So मेरे को करना है 2 plus 3 by 2 plus 6 by 5. My denominator will be 10. 10 2s are 20. 20 plus 15 is 35. 35 plus 12 is 47. So fraction से भी मिल जाता है. ठीक है, fraction might have been easier, but fractions generally people find difficult. That's why I did LCM के method से. During the test, I might have done fractions personally. All right. Again, I'll just flash the next question for the benefit of those of you who are done with this. For those of you who have not understood this, I'll stay put for some time. Have a look at it and let me know. कुछ भी अगर है जो समझ में नहीं आया, you think there is something that needs more explanation, I'll be happy to do that. ठीक है? Yeah, we have 3 more questions for the day. So I'll stay on this for another 30 odd seconds and then we will start solving this. Yeah, and people, if you are liking the content that we are delivering, make sure that you subscribe to this channel, stay subscribed. Of course, if you are commenting, it means that you are subscribed to the channel. And do share the channel with people. We are growing at a very brisk pace, but I'm sure that there are a lot of people whom we have not reached out to yet, and we would love to hear from as many people as is possible. Even that motivates me a bit to create more content and to have more interface with all of you. Okay? So if you're liking what we are doing, do share it with people whom you know. I know a lot of you are actively doing it, but for those of you who aren't, please do it. It is of great help to us. Okay? Now let's get going with this question. How many 2-digit numbers with a non-zero digit in the units place? So 2-digit numbers, if I say that A B के form में number है, तो of course 2-digit number है, तो A cannot be equal to 0. But we are saying that units place में भी 0 नहीं है, तो B is also not equal to 0. Are there which are more than thrice the number formed by interchanging the positions of its digits? So now whenever someone tells you that there is a 2-digit number, you have to write it in the form of 10A plus B to make your life easier. क्योंकि यहाँ पे value of the number is asked. Digits का यहाँ पे कोई context नहीं है. The context is the value of this 2-digit number is more than thrice of the number formed by interchanging the position of the digits. So first thing I want to interchange the position of the digits. So 2-digit numbers मेरे पास हैं 10A plus B. अगर मैं interchange करता हूँ digits को, B becomes my tens place वाला digit and A becomes my units place वाला digit. So my number will become 10B plus A. So now if I translate this into maths, what will happen? 10A plus B is more than thrice the number formed by interchanging the digits. So 10A plus B will be greater than 3 times 10B plus A. This is something that we are going to get in this context, right? Alright. So this is what we are going to get. Now if I write this as 10A plus B is greater than 30B plus 3A. ठीक है? Now ये A दोनों यहाँ पे आ गए, तो this will become 7A, and इस B को right में लेके चले गए, this will become 29B. So 7A should be greater than 29B. That is what we know in this context. We also know that B cannot be equal to 0. So अगर B 0 नहीं है, तो we can start with B ना, because this is the larger number. तो बड़े नंबर से स्टार्ट करेंगे तो अपने को कम काम करना पड़ेगा. If you start with A equal to 1, 7 into 1 से शुरू करेंगे ना, तो 7 into 1 is not greater than 29B at all. 7 into 2 करेंगे, 7 into 3 करेंगे, ऐसे करते जाएंगे तो बहुत उसमें काम करना पड़ेगा. बट 29 इंटू बी को 7 से कंपेयर करना विल बी मच फास्टर. दैट इज वाई विल ट्राई टू प्लग इन वैल्यूज ऑफ बी. नाउ बी इज नॉट इक्वल टू 0 ये बताया गया है, तो द स्मॉलेस्ट वैल्यू दैट बी कैन टेक इज 1. सो आई जस्ट राइट इट लाइक दिस. If b is 1, what all values can a take? 7 into a has to be greater than 29 ना. तो 7 4s are 28 होता है, 7 5s are चलेगा 35 होता है, 7 6s are 42, 7 7s are 49, 7 8s are 56, 7 9s are 63. 7 into 10 नहीं चलेगा because a is a single digit number, क्योंकि a 10th place का digit है, right? So that can't be 10 in itself. That's why a can take only values 5 6 7 8 9. Now let's look at the next one. अगर b 2 है, then we are saying that 7a should be greater than 58. यहाँ पे we know that 7 8s are 56, तो 7 9s are 63 ही चलेगा सिर्फ यहाँ पे. If b equals 3 ले लेते हैं तो क्या होगा? 7a has to be greater than 87, but 7a 87 से बड़ा भी होना चाहिए और a सिंगल डिजिट नंबर भी होना चाहिए. 7a का मैक्सिमम वैल्यू कैन बी 63, तो इट कैनॉट डिफीट 87 एट ऑल. तो यहाँ पे there will be no solution that will be possible. So how many solutions are there in total? 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. So there exist 6 values or 6 two-digit numbers such that the number formed by by interchanging the digits, right? उससे जो parent value था thrice से भी बड़ा था. That was the point, right? So just to give you some context, if the original number was 51, original number 51 is greater than 3 times of 15 as well. तो 51 को उल्टा करते हैं, 15 बनेगा, 15 3s are 45, 51 तो उससे बड़ा है. Similarly, if I am looking at 61, 61 is definitely going to be greater than 3 times 60 and so on. जैसे अपने को यहाँ पे 92 मिलेगा, which is definitely greater than 3 times 29, which is 87. ठीक है? So that is what that is what it means basically. All right. I'll move on to the next one. For those of you who have not understood the previous one, let me know. कुछ भी doubt अगर है तो I am hoping that you are learning as we progress and you are also able to solve along. So that is something that I am hoping. अगर नहीं है, कुछ भी गड़बड़ है, something is there that you are not convinced about, let me know. I'll try to clear it for you. Till that point in time, you can just look at the next question that we have here on screen. So again, I'll stay here for another 30-40 seconds. And all these questions are available to you, by the way. So all these questions are available to you throughout the day. So we float these questions in the form of a test. It is recommended that you take it in the form of a test throughout the day. जब भी आपके पास time है, you can take it as a test. You can take it after the window is done as well. ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि आज नहीं दिया तो test देने मिलेगा नहीं. You can take it tomorrow, day after tomorrow, any day before CAT. You can take the test. But it is recommended that you do it on a daily basis so that you are also doing things consistently. ठीक है? So every day if you take the test, then you are more or less looking at each section on a regular basis, because we have faced the tests in such a manner that every week you will have some touch point in terms of quant, in terms of DRR, in terms of VARC. So that is how we have designed it. तो consistently अगर देते रहेंगे तो you will also benefit from it gradually, right? Let's look at this one. Now 5.55 the whole raised to x is equal to 0.555 raised to y. So 555 ये दोनों जगह पे in this context equals 1000. We have to find the value of 1 by x minus 1 by y. Now there are a lot of ways of doing this, right? Some people might want to do it in the form of logs. Some people might want to say कि अच्छा ये 5.55 raised to x है, this is 0.55 raised to x into 10 raised to x करके कुछ आएगा, and then something will happen and so on, right? But one elegant way of doing this is to figure out ये 1 by x or 1 by y है ना. So if your index is in the form of x and y, the root, corresponding root will be in the form of 1 by x and 1 by y. So what will I do in this case is 5.55 raised to x is equal to 1000. ये मेरे को पता है. Therefore, can I say that 5.55 is nothing but 1000 raised to 1 by x. I took the xth root on both sides. So 5.55 is equal to 1000 raised to 1 by x. Similarly, अगर मैं यहाँ पे 0.555 raised to y को 1000 बोलता हूँ, then I can say that 0.555 is nothing but 1000 raised to 1 by y. Again, this is something that I am going to get. Now think about this. I need 1 by x minus 1 by y. We had seen it in the previous question, right? बहुत पहले एक question में देखा था. 1 by 2 raised to 2 was nothing but 2 raised to minus 2. ये क्यों आया था? Because 2 raised to 0 upon 2 raised to 2 is 2 raised to 0 minus 2. Same logic यहाँ पे apply कर सकते हैं. So if I were to divide the second or the first expression by the second expression pura ka pura, I will be able to get 1 by x minus 1 by y on my right hand side ना. So that is the point. तो अगर इसको मैं डिवाइड करता हूं इससे, आई एम गोइंग टू गेट 10 बिकॉज एक डेसिमल शिफ्ट हो गया है. 10 will be nothing but 1000 raised to 1 by x minus 1 by y. Now magically we have got this. Now अगर ये 10 है तो मेरे को इसको भी 10 करना है ना. I can easily do this. I will say that 10 is nothing but 10 raised to 3 the whole raised to 1 by x minus 1 by y. Or I can say that 10 is nothing but 10 raised to or I'll just keep it as it is. We have to figure out the value of 1 by x minus 1 by y. Na? So we will just say that this is 10 raised to 1. So we can say that 3 into 1 by x minus 1 by y is 1, or 1 by x minus 1 by y is 1 by 3. And so that's our answer. So it's a fairly straightforward question if you know what you're looking for. If you try to complicate things by saying this is x log 5.55, y log 5.55, then 1 by x le lo, then 1 by y le lo, you will get your answer. But it will be very painful. So try to see what is needed, what needs to be answered. 1 by x minus 1 by y चाहिए ना. मेरे को x और y के इंडिविजुअल वैल्यूज निकालने ही नहीं है. I want to find what is the value of 1 by x and 1 by y. So that I should be able to figure out using this particular way. ठीक है? And for those of you who are wondering how can we 0.555 raised to something be equal to 1000, though the answer is in the question itself. अगर y positive होता जाएगा ना तो 0.555 will keep on shrinking, so y will have to be negative. So y जितना ज़्यादा negative होगा उतना 0.555 raised to y will be higher, larger. But doesn't matter, that is only in a theoretical manner. Practical context में just have to find 1 by x minus 1 by y and you should be fine. Okay, the last question for the day. I'll show a shortcut to this question. Hi Siddharth. So I'll try to show you a shortcut to this particular question. There is a longer way as well. We'll try to do the longer way also. But exam के time पे try to think in terms of slightly shorter ways of solving questions. Shortcuts. I don't advocate shortcuts, but in this context, you don't really need to extrapolate to 2 raised to 15 and 2 raised to 15, 2 raised to 14 rather. Okay? Siddharth will be launching the courses in the month of August. So we'll be having workshops. We will announce it by the end of this month. In the next couple of weeks, we will announce it, and the courses should start in August. So have a look at this one. Maybe take 30-40 seconds, 1 minute, and I would suggest that you try this on your own, and you will then be able to answer this one, right? So एक बार थोड़ा सा basic try कर लेना, then we will see what it means to actually solve this particular question. Yes, Siddha, that's a good score. In fact, the courses that we have are going to benefit you. So it's basically keeping aspirants like you in mind. These are generally going to be workshops that are going to be there. So in that context, I think they will benefit you because you're already at a decent enough level, I believe. Yeah, Siddharth, not a problem. Alright, so let's have a look at this one. See, in a very simplistic manner, इसको क्या करना है मेरे को? 2019, right? Population in the beginning of 2019 is 1000. You have to figure out what was the population in the beginning of 2034. मतलब 15 years later. ठीक है? What will be the population 15 years later? And यहाँ पे function क्या है? मतलब what exactly is the transition that is happening? P अगर beginning of the year में है, it becomes 3 plus 2p in the beginning of the next year. So let's say year 1, right? और let's say 0, year 0. ठीक है? मतलब जब start करें वहाँ पे. Year 0 पे अगर p है, then at the end of year 1, you are going to have 3 plus 2p. What about year 2? अब यहां पे दिस बिकम्स माई बेस ना, सो मेरा आंसर क्या होगा 3 प्लस 2 इंटू 3 प्लस 2p, विच विल बी नथिंग बट 3 प्लस 2 into 3 plus 4p, right? Or you can just keep it as it is and then see what happens. Year 3 के end में क्या होगा? Now this basically becomes my base. So my equation is going to be 3 plus 2 into ये पूरा चीज ना, 3 plus 2 into 3 plus 4p. ये 2.3 नहीं है, 2 into 3. Put a bracket here as well. Okay? So something like this. फिर क्या होगा? This will be 3 plus 2 into 3 plus 2 into 2 into 3 plus 2 4s are 8p. तो p के टर्म्स को मैं सिंगल ही रख रहा हूं, उसको मैं कुछ स्प्लिट नहीं कर रहा, बट हियर यू विल बी एबल टू सी मैजिक हैपनिंग, बिकॉज व्हाट हैपेंस इज इन दिस केस यू हैड 3 plus 2p, सो 3 एज इट इज था, यहाँ पे 3 plus 2 into 3 हो गया, यहाँ पे 3 plus 2 into 3 plus 2 into 2 into 3 हो गया. सो यू सी दैट ये 2p जो है ना वो हर 3 के साथ मल्टीप्लाई हो रहा है आगे जा जाके. ठीक है, ओमकार, आई विल कम अप विद अ डिटेल्ड वीडियो इन दैट. सो वर्कशॉप विल मोस्टली बी अबाउट सॉल्विंग क्वेश्चंस the way we are doing in this context. So VARC we will be doing a lot of RCs and VA questions. There will be some recorded sessions and live sessions, and quant ke andar we will be discussing a lot of questions, something like what we are doing, slightly difficult questions is what we will be looking at, and those will not be cat questions, those will be like fresh questions that we have, right? So ये होगा ऐसे यहाँ पे. Now if you see, if this keeps on happening, what can we say in this context? ये क्या है? This is nothing but 3 into 1 plus 2 plus 2 square. So I can say 2 raised to 0 plus 2 raised to 1 plus 2 square and so on. ये चलते जाएगा यहाँ पे. And ये 8p क्या है? 2p था, then 4p हो गया, then 8p हो गया. So this will be nothing but 2 raised to n times p. ये होगा. And यहाँ पे ये होगा 2 raised to n minus 1. क्योंकि फर्स्ट में 3 into 2 raised to 0 था. Year 2 में 3 into 2 raised to 0 plus 2 raised to 1 हो गया. Year 3 में 3 into 2 raised to 0 plus 2 raised to 1 plus 2 square हो गया. So for every nth year you are going to get n minus 1 तक के 2 के powers. So this is what you are going to get. Now you basically have to figure out what is going to happen 15 years later. So what will happen in 15 years later? The answer, or basically the simplified version will be 3 into 2 raised to 0 plus 2 raised to 1 ऐसे करते जाएंगे till the time you reach 2 raised to 14 plus 2 raised to n into p, right, which will be nothing but in this particular context p is 1000 to start with. So 1000 into 2 raised to n हो जाएगा, मतलब 2 raised to 15 हो जाएगा. So 2 raised to 15 into 1000 plus this into 3. Now if you observe things carefully you will see that 2 raised to 0 होता है 1, 2 raised to 0 plus 2 raised to 1 will be 3, which is 1 less than 4. 2 raised to 0 plus 2 raised to 1 plus 2 square is 7, which is 2 cube minus 1, and ऐसे करते जाएंगे. So this will be nothing but 2 raised to 15 minus 1 plus 1000 into 2 raised to 15. I'll just write it properly. ठीक है, so it will look something like this. Now if you look at the options you will see that you have some 15 raised to 15, 2 raised to 14, 2 raised to 20 सब terms हैं हमारे पास, right? So let me write this as 3 into 2 raised to 15 minus 3 plus 1000 into 2 raised to 15, ये term बनेगा, right? Now 3 into 2 raised to 15 and 1000 into 2 raised to 15, तो क्या बनेगा total? 1003 into 2 raised to 15 will be one term, minus 3 will be the second term. तो which option is right in this case? ये वाला option. Now the point is, अगर इतना मेहनत नहीं करना, this is too much of effort, right? We have put in a lot of effort to solve this particular question. Let's say try to simplify these things and see what happens. So year 0 में we have p, ठीक है? अगर एक साल हो जाता है we have 3 plus 2p. अगर 2 साल हो जाते हैं after 2 years what do we have? 3 plus 2 into 3 plus 4p, which was nothing but 9 plus 4p. ऐसे कुछ तो था हमारे पास, ठीक है? नाउ यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट वुड हैव हैपेंड इफ p वुड हैव बीन इक्वल टू 1000, जैसे क्वेश्चन में दिया हुआ है. आफ्टर 2 years 1000 into 4 4000 plus 9 4009 होना चाहिए था मेरा आंसर. नाउ ट्राई टू सी व्हाट इज द पैटर्न दैट वी आर गेटिंग हियर. व्हाई इज दिस 15 हियर? This 15 is here because 15 years have passed. अगर ये 15 की जगह पे 2 ईयर्स पास हुए होते तो क्या होता? माय फर्स्ट ऑप्शन वुड हैव बीन 1003 रेज टू 2 प्लस 16. अब वो 16 छोड़ दो, कौन है क्या मेरे को नहीं पता, बट है कुछ तो. यहाँ पे इफ आई एम लुकिंग एट दिस वन, दिस वुड हैव बीन 997 रेज टू 2 माइनस 3. नाउ यू विल सी दैट 1003 स्क्वायर 1 मिलियन हो जाएगा. इधर तो 4009 ही है पॉपुलेशन. सो ऑप्शन ए इज नॉट राइट. 997 स्क्वायर करेंगे, अगेन माय आंसर इज 1 मिलियन, वो फिर भी मेरा आंसर नहीं है. व्हाट अबाउट दिस वन? 997 इंटू 2 रेज टू 14. 14 मतलब एक साल पीछे. सो इंस्टेड ऑफ 2 स्क्वायर आई विल डू 2 रेज टू 1 प्लस 3. 997 इंटू 2 विच विल बी 1994 प्लस 3, मेरे को मिलेगा 1997. ठीक है, बट दैट इज नॉट what we are getting. 4009 आ रहा है. लास्ट ऑप्शन अगर देखेंगे, you are going to get 1003 into 2 raised to 15, मतलब हाईएस्ट ईयर जो है वो, तो 2 स्क्वायर हो गया माइनस 3. 1003 into 4 कितना हो गया? 4012 माइनस 3 कितना बचा? 4009. that's our answer. so during the test, instead of looking at इतना सारा झंझट, इतना मेहनत करना यहाँ पे, राइट, दिस एंटायर थिंग, ये पूरा मेहनत करने की जगह पे what you can do is you can take values and see what happens. so after 2 years starting with 1000, the population should be 4009. तो 15 तक जाने का क्या जरूरत है? you are not supposed to calculate it physically ना, that is the point of the question. तो यहाँ पे instead of 15 let's put 2, because instead of 15 years later I am looking at 2 years later. instead of 14 I'll put 1, because instead of 14 years later it's 1 year later. So sometimes these kind of tricks will help you solve questions in a faster manner, allowing you to solve more questions. But do this only if you are absolutely convinced कि ऐसे कुछ कर सकते हैं. नहीं तो जबरदस्ती हर चीज में ढूंढना चालू मत कर देना, नहीं तो you will be in some trouble. ठीक है? So that was the last question for the day. I hope both the methods are clear to you. ये वाला numerically क्यों आता है वो भी it should be clear to you. Right? So try it out on your own is what I would suggest if you haven't solved the test. Try it out on your own again. Try to arrive at this particular answer that I have mentioned. एक एक step करके पीछे जाके देख लेना, and I'm sure you will be able to arrive at it. And if you are not able to arrive at it, let me know in the comments section. I'll try to address it through text, and then I think you should be fine. ठीक है? So if there are no doubts, I'll close the session for today, and I'll see you again tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be continuing with number theory. We have another set of questions from number theory. तो जो भी हम 3 weeks में number theory नहीं किए हैं, everything we will try to cover by tomorrow, and will be in sync with the other areas that we have done. Yeah, Siddharth, you can ask me, but you can just drop me a message on LinkedIn. I'll try to reply to you there if that is fine, or if you can let me know, type here, you can do that, or you can put it in the comment of any of these videos. So I generally reply to all the comments that come to any of the videos that are there, even if it's an old video, it's fine. So that was the thing. Siddharth, see, last year quants were super tough. If you look at CAT 2018 versus CAT 2019, right? 17, 18, 19 भी अगर देख लेते हैं ना, 17 was an absolutely easy quant section. 18 had a very difficult quant section. 19 had an easy quant section. So it's not necessary that the level of difficulty will continue to increase. And even if it continues to increase, if you are a prepared candidate, it should not bother you. In fact, you should be happy about it, because people who have not prepared at all will not be able to attempt questions, not gain that confidence, and they will more or less be thrashed if you get a difficult section. And in a difficult section, last year I'm sure you would have seen what was the cutoff, right? So if you got a score of 27 or so, you would have got a 99th percentile last year, I believe, in the quant section. So that is the benchmark that you have to set yourself. If it is difficult, you have to ensure that you have to solve those 8-10 questions genuinely and reach that 99th percentile if you can. बहुत ही defensive game खेलना है. If it's an easy paper, you have to go all out and solve it as aggressively as you can. But the basics remain the same. ऐसा नहीं था कि last year CAT के अंदर कुछ ऐसी चीजें पूछी गई थी जो conceptually पूरी की पूरी नहीं थी. ऐसा बिल्कुल नहीं था. With the same concepts, people have scored very well in the same section. So it was not about the concepts. It was mostly about application of the concept and keeping your wits. Right? If one of those two things were off, then you would have faced some difficulty. But हाँ मतलब workshop के अंदर we'll try to solve questions that are higher in terms of level of difficulty, so that you are not surprised on the day of the test. So that is something that we will be doing. Otherwise, we will we can handle it subsequently as the season progresses. ठीक है? Omkar, not recommended. Again, we'll take the question a bit later, but it is not recommended क्योंकि ओमेट्स और कैट के अंदर इफ यू लुक एट द हिट रेट 85 percentility cat is also going to give you more or less similar options compared to the options that you are going to get at the OMETs if you let go of the top 2 or 3 colleges. तो cat के अंदर there is a मतलब better chance of you getting a decent college in spite of not doing very well. So I would not suggest कि cat को पूरी तरह छोड़ दो. Play that defensive game, get better at all the basic questions that are there, and you should be fine. ठीक है? Siddharth, 15 to 21 is not really a very difficult journey. I'm sure you would have known yourself. तो बाद में अगर टेस्ट देखा होगा, पेपर देखा होगा, I'm sure you would have figured out maybe 2 or 3 questions that you could have been able to solve if you had just maintained your focus. So it's not going to be that different, even if it's a difficult test. My understanding is that they will not make a very difficult test this year, considering the historical trend. But you have to be mentally prepared for everything that happens. Okay? So on that note, we'll close the session. Of course, there are multiple forums where we can discuss these doubts. You can send me a request on LinkedIn, send me questions on LinkedIn if you have something pertinent to your profile. I'll try to address those questions there. Okay? So we'll close the session now. Thank you everyone for turning up for the session and staying there till the end. I hope it was beneficial to you. Tomorrow again we are going to look at number theory. So I'll see you again tomorrow evening at 8 p.m. Till the time, take care everyone.